Well, welcome back, and delighted to have back in the studio with us today Treva Kuyper. She's one of the co-directors of a ministry that's fantastic for young girls from 8th grade to 12th grade called the Loft. And you're kind of right in the middle of your season.
We are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
And this coming Sunday is a very important topic, and you're calling it Netiquette.
Yes.
What is that?
Netiquette is online safety and etiquette. How do the girls navigate through their identity online?
All right, how big of a problem is this?
Well, it's huge. They don't know any different. Like, we remember what it was like to grow up without an iPhone.
Yeah, it was kind of nice.
It was
Life
nice.
was simple. We talked.
We did. We conversed and went outside, and and so now they grow up with laptops and iPhones, and just trying to help them see the other side, that their entire identity doesn't have to be online, but whoever they are in real life should also be who they are online, because I think they get confused about their identity.
Well, I can't tell you how important this topic is. We do a lot of research on it too, as it relates to just communicating with people. Well, what's so interesting about all this, the emotion in which something was written is not the emotion by which it's received.
Yes.
What happens?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, so many things happen, and you have cyberbullying, you have people being torn down online. I think that screen gives us a false sense of security. So when you're texting and social media and typing and everything like that, it can come across so differently than how it's meant. And I think that our girls, at some level, they like the idea that they feel safe with that screen right there, and they begin communicating almost only online. And like you were saying, we remember what it was like to have conversation.
Right.
Well, now we're losing the art of communication in real time.
Sexting, we hear a lot about it. Is it an issue?
Yes. It is a huge issue.
Really?
It really, truly is. And
that's amazing. Yeah,
there's an app called Snapchat that's really popular, and many, many teens use it. And the idea is that you can send a photograph over Snapchat, and it will go away within 10 seconds. And so that's used a lot for sexting and sending nude pictures. And actually, 1 out of 5 teens have either received a nude photo or sent a nude photo. And it's becoming part of the dating culture. It's becoming part of our world. It's not just teenagers that do that, it's adults that do that too.
So then there's no history on the phone?
There is history on the phone, and actually this Sunday we're going to talk about Netiquette at the Loft, and we're having a police officer come, and she's going to talk about some real life stories that have happened. And one of the things that she has shared in the past is that the person thinks that just because the picture goes away in 10 seconds that it can't be retrieved, but it can be retrieved, especially from the police. They can get anything off of our phones or laptops. But in the high school world, in the junior high world, if one of our girls is sending a half-naked photo or a completely naked photo to, say, their boyfriend, who's to say that he's not going to take a screenshot of that and send it to the guys in the locker room? You just don't know what's going to happen. And one of the things that I want to get across to the girls is they're not going to stand up in front of their classmates in their classroom and flash any part of their body. They're not going to lift their shirt up in class for all to see. So why would they send a picture? Just trying to relate to them that even though the culture, this is becoming more normal in our culture, doesn't mean it's right.
Absolutely. So how do you help these girls with the peer pressure of this that's happening? Do you tell them to dump it right away? I mean, what do they do?
It's really hard, because I think there's a ton of peer pressure, and we take for granted the online privilege that we have. And what we're going to touch on Sunday is their identity. If their identity is in Christ, how would you honor the Lord in that? If they don't know Christ, then we want to introduce them to who He is.
Right.
But they have to go back to who their identity is and what the future holds. And I think that's where our teens there's a gap there, is they don't think about the big picture. They don't think about when they go to college, when they're trying to get a job and establish a career, or when they are a mom.
Yeah.
All these things that they're putting out there through their phone, through their laptops, online, it stays there. You can't go erase it. And they don't think about that, and that's something that we want to open their eyes, and that's why we have a police officer come every year to bring real life stories, so we can kind of grab hold of them and shake them a little bit.
I would imagine parents are just scared to death about this. What do you want parents to do and to know?
I would love, because I have a 17-year-old daughter, and I would love for our parents to study up on the apps that their kids are using. That's what we need to do. I've never used Snapchat, but I've studied up on what it is and what it does. And we can use the internet as a tool for encouragement, for business, for school, for good things. But the enemy wants us to be completely distracted by it and to go down these destructive paths. And so for parents, I think, number one, they've got to study up on the apps that their kids are using, and they have every right to get into their child's phone.
Right.
They have every right. And sometimes our teenagers will be like, well, that's my bedroom. You can't come in. That's my phone. You can't go into my phone, into their world. No, parents have every right to go into the room that they pay for and the phone that they pay for. And I do the same thing as a parent. So we have to be able to have communication with our teens. The other thing with sexting is, parents, when they find out, I've talked with parents that have found out that their daughter has sent a naked photo to someone. And I've got to say, I would freak out too and panic and be like, what are you doing? And that's how parents normally respond. But the better way to respond is to calmly communicate with your teen. When we panic and we freak out and we become angry all in the same moment.
Yeah, they isolate.
Yes, and they don't want to open up because it becomes very emotional. So we need to be calm. We need to try to gather as much information.
While you're falling apart inside.
While you're falling apart on the inside,
Yeah.
we have self-control, right? And then what we can do is not only send them to the Loft, but then we can talk to people that have walked that same road.
Wow, I can't say enough about this ministry and what you can do. It'll be 5:30 this evening at the...
This Sunday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You tell us where it is.
It's this Sunday. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's this Sunday night at 5:30 to 8:30, and they can bring a friend. They don't have to RSVP. We feed them dinner. We give away prizes, and then we will have a police officer come and share stories.
That's at the Community Bible Church in Central
Yes.
Point, 5:30. All right, before we run out of time, you got a big thing coming up in the Runway for Hope, or Runway to Hope?
Yes. So April 29th, we're doing our annual fashion show called Runway to Hope.
Wow.
And we put on this really fun fashion show with our teenagers. Our Loft girls are the models. And then we're going to have Rebecca Bender come and speak on sex trafficking. We're trying to bring awareness to sex trafficking in our valley. And then Richie Cruz from California, he's going to come and talk about pornography and how to break free of that addiction. And this all goes back to Netiquette, sex trafficking, pornography, sexting, all of this, cyberbullying, all of this that's affecting our teenagers. We're trying to bring awareness. Let's bring it to the surface and talk about it, and let's help them navigate through this crazy world that has no boundaries, it seems like.
How much pressure is there on parents to have their child to have a phone?
I think that a lot. I mean, I think that it almost is just common. It's like, oh, you don't have a phone, you don't have a part of your body. I mean, it just seems like, when they get to junior high, it seems like everyone has a phone. In our home, the rule is you don't have a phone until you drive. Because I want the kids to have a phone while they're driving in case they need us. But until they drive, we don't give out phones.
So Netiquette is the topic. That's where you're going to learn how to handle all of this. It's just an amazing thing to see what's happening. Does school get involved with this if they see it? Are they obligated to get involved?
I don't know if they're obligated to get involved. I know that they do, because we have so many caring teachers and principals out there that do care. The problem is that the teenagers don't say anything. Right? So it's sometimes it's hard to find those things out, and oftentimes when parents even find out that their kids are either being bullied online or they're sexting or addicted to pornography, they stumble across search history.
Because I've heard that a lot of the teenagers now moving away from Facebook, going to these other apps, and that's where they're hiding their communication in these other apps, because mom and dad have discovered Facebooking.
Exactly. Exactly. They're going. That's exactly it. Facebook is becoming for people in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and not the teens anymore. And that's why, as parents, we need to know what's on our child's phone and what they're doing. And that stems from just having a great relationship with your child, is having that trust so that they can trust you and you can trust them.
All right, 5:30 Sunday night, Community Bible Church in Central Point. You just show up. You and your teenage daughter, or your teenage daughter and her friend, can come. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to have a lot of fun. But what a way to be in a peer group like that and learn how to be safe with all this.
Absolutely.
Because that's the bottom line, isn't it?
It is the bottom line. And actually on April 22nd and 23rd, Southern Oregon Women of the Word is going to be in Central Point, the So Wow Conference. And I'm leading one of the breakout sessions for moms of teen girls and preteen girls. And we're going to talk about some of these issues. I'm very excited to be able to be in a room with our parents. I'm usually in a room with the teenagers.
Yes.
And be able to share some of what do they do when they find that their daughter is sexting or addicted to porn. What do they do? And so in that breakout session, that's what we're going to talk about.
All right, again, 5:30 Sunday night, Community Bible Church in Central Point, and you can get a hold of Treva there for Southern Oregon Women of the Word. You can also find out more about Runway to Hope coming up on April 29th. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.